Hello everyone! My name is Chandria. Welcome to Chandria Carol Stitches. It has been almost a year since I have been on Flosstube, and with the new year and everything, I thought it would be a good time to go ahead. We'll do a 2025 wrap up, whip parade, finish parade, all the things, and then go ahead and start fresh in the new year. A lot has happened. I'll talk about that in like my next regular Flosstube, but for anyone who's still here, who is still watching these videos, I really appreciate it, and I'm back. Let's hope that I can stay and get on some sort of schedule so that I can show you guys what I've been up to. We're gonna go ahead and start with a 2025 finish parade. So I'll show you everything that I finished in 2025. I have 29 finishes in 2025, 18 of which were started in 2025, and then the rest were obviously from previous years. I also have one bonus that my husband stitched, so I'm very excited to show you that. I have notes, so if I'm looking down, that's what we got going on. I didn't want to trust the technology to move quickly enough, so I have notes. Yeah, so I'll go through the pattern name and the fabric that I stitched on, but otherwise I'm really not going to give you any more stats. Like, I'm not going to throw dates at you. They're done. They're fabulous. Most of these I think I've posted on Instagram as well. I've been trying to catch up on those, and I don't know how well I'm doing. I think I still have a few that I need to go ahead and post, but I'm going to go in chronological order, and there's a few that I don't have anymore that were gifts, so I'll pop up photos when I get to those, and I'll let you know. So yeah, let's start off with the first thing that I finished in 2025, and this is, okay, so we're gonna have to do it over here. This is Penguin Snowflake by Daily Magic Stitch, and this is stitched on 18 count Memories in the Rain Aida by Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. So yeah, this was a free stitch along where they would send you, like, you message them on Instagram, they would send you the first part of the pattern, and then they would, once you showed them a photo of that completed, then they would send you the next part. I think these are available. There's several of them with different animals in the middle, but I chose the penguin. I love penguins. And then I think you can get this from them now, but they do that about every year, so follow them on Instagram and you'll see when they announce their next free stitch along. Next we have two, I'm just going to fold this over and show them back to back. This one is Quirky Quaker Puffin by Darling and Whimsy Designs. This is stitched on a 14 count Aida. It's a mystery from like a scrap bag from the Sewing Shop.ca. And I used Berry Crunch floss it's a limited edition Color and Cotton. The next one is just on the same piece of fabric, is Quirky Quaker Hedgehog by Darling and Whimsy Designs, and this one is stitched with Blackwood by Cottage Garden Threads. Yeah, these are just absolutely precious, and I seem to stitch them in twos because I guess they're so easy, and I guess I do two before I'm like, oh, that's a real finish now. But they're just so cute. Next is Year of the Dragon by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. Get you in real close. This one is adorable. So I finished this before Lunar New Year because 2024 was the year of the dragon, obviously, but I finished it before Lunar New Year in 2025, so it's fine. This is stitched on 32 count, lightly salted, not roasted linen by BeStitchMe. Next is Puffin Party by Hands On Design. And this is part of the Polar Plunge series. I think I've done 3 of either 5 or 6. This is stitched on 32 count sea spray linen by Seraphim Fabrics. Yep. Next, this is Bigfoot Big Stocking by Lola Crow Cross Stitch. This was part of the Cryptid Christmas stitch along a few years ago. I don't think she did one in 2025. I think she just released, actually they go along with this. It's a set of, they look almost exactly like this, but it's Bigfoot in different situations. But this was the one that was in the Cryptid Christmas stitch along. You can get them all individually, or you can get them as a set, which is what I did. And then I also have another one from that same series. So this is a Miniature Sleigh and a Jackalope by Lola Crow Cross Stitch. Both of these are stitched on a 32 count black lugana by Zweigart. They have, yeah, they both do, Krynic for like right here. It'll show up. But Lola Crow has such amazing blends of like colors. There's quite a few colors in this, but it gives such a good effect. And it's like a small area, but it's just so beautiful. Hopefully I can get some more of this series done this year. I think there's like 6 and I've got 2. So next is one I don't have anymore, so I will pop up a photo. This is a custom pattern that I did for a coworker. I just sort of called it Hogi, and I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it was for her niece, and it's from a kid's TV show. I just honestly ran a photo through a pattern generator and cleaned it up a bit. Stitched it on 18 count Easy Count by Zweigart, and if anybody is interested in this, I'll send it to you. It's really nothing special, but I just did it on my lunch breaks at work, and it went pretty fast. And it was well received. Next is Haunted Hearts Mailbox by Haunted Frames Stitchery. And they have a whole series of these little ghost kitties, and like in different holiday theming. You'll see one in my whip parade. The next one I'm working on is the Christmas one, and so it's like a USPS mailbox, but in like red and green, and yeah, I've got the ghost kitties. They also have one for Easter, Halloween, maybe some more, but I know for sure those. And yeah, this is stitched on 32 count Abyss linen by Fabrics by Stephanie. and so it's like a bluey black gray. I really like colors like this because they're not as hard to stitch on as black, and so like even black pops on it, but yeah, it's like a nice dark color that's not as hard to stitch on. I have also, complete side tangent, but I have also decided that instead of stitching on straight black, you can get charcoal, and it's so much easier to see and stitch on, and looks almost as good as black. But considering how easy it is to stitch on comparatively, it is well worth that it doesn't look perfect. So yeah, I'm gonna be switching all, anything new that would be on black. Like a lot of the Witchy Stitcher patterns, I've been in her Patreon forever, so I have a million. I'm gonna be stitching a lot of those on like charcoal instead of black. Anyway, back to it. Next is another one that I don't have. It was a gift, so I'll pop up a photo. And the photo that I have is only after my portion was done. This was a round robin sort of piece that me and some friends did as a gift for another friend. So it was, the part that had already been done was done by Erin of Cozy Town Stitches and half of the Hathaway Stitchers, and then I worked on part of the border. So the photo that you should be seeing is going to have like half the border and then one of the beetles, and I did the border part. Then it went to Michaela of Cinematic Stitches, Tara of Little Woman Crafts, and Amity of Boomerang Stitches, and the other half of the Hathaway Stitchers. And it was a gift for Hillary of Subpar Stitches. It was also well received, so love the gifts and them being well received. That didn't mention it. The pattern is called a Bevy of Festive Beetles. It's by the Artsy Housewife, and it was stitched on 28 count scroll lugana by BeStitchMe. Next we have the Year of the Snake for 2025. I was on it for this one since I was so late on the other one. And now that it's 2026, it's ready to start the next, I need to get a move on that one. But this is by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, if I didn't say that already. This is stitched on 32 count Nightshade linen by BeStitchMe. All of them share the same, I know that the yellow is Curry by Weeks Dye Works. It's the called for, and then the red is, I don't know if it's Cupid or Ribbon Red. It's a red from Classic Colorworks. And so those are the same. The pink is the same. So several of the colors are the same in all of them so that they could go together as a set. And then obviously anything that's going to be in the animal are swapped out depending on the animal for that year. So I slowly but surely am going to be doing all of these, and then I would love to finish them as some sort of set. I probably would not do something that you could swap out since it does have the year on it, so I'm just going to have the year for the year that I've stitched it, and then I would probably do some big display of all of them together. But we got quite a while before that is a concern. Next is Pray For Me, I'm Bitter. This is by Lucy Beam, Lovin' Stitches. I stitched mine on 32 count April Showers linen by BeStitchMe, and I did a punchier color conversion using Forbidden Fiber Co. flosses. I thought this was hilarious. It's lemons and salt shakers, and I'm bitter. I did this as a stitch along, the Pray For Me Sal. It started at StitchCon in 2024, and then had it finished for us to do group photos for StitchCon of 2025. See? And then another one that is a stitch along and is probably the biggest finish I had last year is Beach Rat. This is Beach Rat by the Artsy Housewife. Found a good way to show this. Okay, we're just gonna have to hope you can see this. Let's see, so Beach Rat, Artsy Housewife, stitched on the same fabric, so 32 count April Showers linen by BeStitchMe. I did the version with the words. There is a version with more of these like flowery bits. I guess it's seaweed, but it's got more of those, like comes up farther if you choose not to do the words. So this was Beach Rat Sal. Started at StitchCon 2024 all together as a group, and then finished, I think I had mine finished before, or maybe finished at StitchCon of 2025. And then also the Artsy Housewife was one of the featured designers at Pinwist, the Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit, in the fall of 2025. And so I took this to show off there. Yes, just again, the Artsy Housewife is another one of those designers that just, the colors, this one really didn't have that many colors, but just the shading looks so good. And those were all DMCs in there. There were some fancy floss, but if I'm remembering correctly anyway, like all of this blending part here was DMC. Okay, another StitchCon start and finish. This is vintage, I think it's just called vintage, but I've been calling it Vintage Crafts by Stitch X Love. And I stitched this on 14 count Do Aida. It's like a printed Aida, so it's white on the other side. And I got this at Michael's, but I think it's by Charles Craft. It's fine. I liked the colors, and yeah. And then for the floss, I used All the Colors Silk by BeStitchMe. And yeah, I love this. Next is We Still Go On by D's 20 Stitches, and I think this is one also by Uncanny Kari. There's a companion piece. This is the small one, and then there's a larger one that's called We Go On, and this is We Still Go On. I haven't started, or obviously not finished, the bigger one, but the smaller one was awesome. And so I used this super modeled, variegated, like sort of like when you get fancy yarn for any of my knitters that have the speckles. That's how this this floss was, and so it gave like a really cool effect. That floss is Pisces by Forbidden Fiber Co., and then it's stitched on 32 count Boneyard linen by BeStitchMe. That's gonna be a running theme. Next, this is Wednesday by Forbidden Fiber Co. But I did not use Forbidden Fiber Co. flosses. I used Classic Colorworks Nighty Night. And if you can kind of tell, maybe, you can tell in person, but it's not straight black, it's like a black with a navy blue in it. And I thought that would be cool, sort of like ravens have, like their feathers look like they're so black they almost look blue, and so I thought that would be a good effect for her hair. I used a Weeks Dye Works parchment to give like an aged look to the collar, and then the red is actually a owl forest thread that I had. And then this is stitched on 16 count Finian Aida by, I think, Seraphim Fabrics. Yeah, this one had a ton of fill-in, so I mostly like took it places, and it took forever to finish just because I was saving, like I outlined the hair and then was saving the fill-in for retreats and stuff, so yeah, I mean, it was great for that though. Next is another one that I don't have with me anymore. I did a birth announcement, birth sampler situation for a friend's first baby. So this is Dream Big Little One by Vlada X Stitch on Etsy. I stitched on 32 count white even weave from Michaels. Don't really recommend, to be honest, so not even sure the brand, but and then I used all the called for DMCs, and then for the actual wording at the bottom, which I'm gonna have that blocked out, but Amity of Boomerang Stitches helped chart all of that, all the wording to make it look like match the words in the pattern. So thank you. Super well received as well, and yeah. Next is another one I don't have. This was my Smalls exchange piece. I did not do it at StitchCon, but I just ran out of time trying to get Beach Ride done, I'm pretty sure. But I did do the Smalls exchange at Pinwis. So this was my project. It is the Christmas 2023 Patreon Sal, and this was the first one of a set of ornaments of like different animals making snow angels, and that is by Mama Witch X Stitch. I have not seen these. Now, to be fair, I have been really trying not to stalk some designers on Instagram anymore, just because I need to finish the patterns that I already have, so I've been trying to be better. So all of that to say, I'm not sure, but I have not seen it released, so you may not be able to get this if you were not a part of the Patreon in 2023, but maybe they'll eventually get released. They were adorable. And that's stitched on just 18 count white Aida. I'm not sure where I got it, to be honest. I'm not sure what brand, but next, we're back to some that I do have. This is part of the, this is the first Halloween snow globe by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. It was a sal that they just started. It's now complete, but it's not been complete for very long. They started, I think, in October of, maybe September, but September or October 2025. It was a set of 4 Halloween snow globe ornaments, all on, this is 14 count antique brown perforated paper by Mill Hill, and they're all stitched on that. This matches a set of Christmas ones that they also have. It's the exact same sort of style, except it's Christmas snow globes and different animals. So once I finish all 4 of these, I'll probably start those. And I'm almost done with the 4th one, so spoiler, you're gonna see a couple more of these. So anyway, this one, the first one is Albert the Owl. I think I mentioned everything on that one, yeah. The next one is the first one that I still have that's actually FFO'd. This is Snow Buddy by Satsuma Street. So this was a kit. I finished it with sticky craft foam. And then yeah. I love the Satsuma Street kits. I mean, obviously Mill Hill has so many more, and if you really like beading, the Mill Hill ones are for you. But I really love the Satsuma Street ones, honestly, more because they have less beads. I don't really enjoy the beading ones. I love the look of the Mill Hill ones, and I'll do one, and then as soon as I get done with it, I'm like, oh, never doing that again. And then of course there's a million beautiful ones, so I always go back, but I take a break in between because they usually have a lot of beads. So yeah. And they also use sequins, but they're really easy and there's not a ton of them. It's mostly like actually stitching. So yeah, that's Snow Buddy by Satsuma Street that I got as a kit. So it's on 14 count perforated paper by Mill Hill, but I'm not sure the color. You can get those as PDFs as well. You don't have to get the kit. Next is Moon Nap by Lindy Stitches. I did the words myself in backstitch, but from the words you can tell this was the Harvest Moon Hangout online retreat that Lindy Stitches puts on. It was the freebie. I used, Haystack by Roxy Floss for that variegated yellowy color. Thought it was perfect for a Harvest Moon. And then this is stitched on 16 count Mediterranean Sea Aida by Witchelt. I'm not a Witchelt fan, but I still have some scraps. It's just really stiff. That's all. And not much can make it not stiff. so yeah. Next, and again, like when I was talking about the Satsuma Street one, I'm really not knocking Mill Hill, because here is a Mill Hill ornament, and he's already FFO'd as well. This is Proud Penguin, and you can see that little treasure there, but I'll get in kind of close. I hope you can see that there's a lot of beads in this for this tiny ornament. This one was also stitched as 2 pieces, so this the base was stitched completely separate, and then you cut it out and you sew his little feet onto the base before you put a backing on, and that was really cool. It's the first time I'd ever done that. But yeah, I mean, I love the look of the Mill Hill ones. It's just, I can't always have one of these going just because the beads. But they look so good. And yeah, he's precious. I finished this one with just some red felt. I have plenty of the sticky foam, but the pack that I got is all sparkly, like the pink one was, and that looked like that's perfect and matches the vibe for the Satsuma Street, but it just, this little fella needed, I don't know, just I don't think any of the colors would have worked well. So yeah, this was all kit materials. Don't know what else to say there. Next, and these are two more Quirky Quakers, both on the same fabric. So the first one is Quirky Quaker Loch Ness Monster by Darling and Whimsy Designs. This is also stitched on a 14 count mystery aida from like a scrap bag from the Sewing Shop.ca. And the fabric that floss that I used is good question. I will pop it up on the screen because I do not have that in my notes and I don't know why. And then the next one is from that same set. This is Quirky Quaker Sasquatch, and I did the Yeti colorway. And I changed it just a bit. So this is Berry Crunch. That's that. I'd used it before, but it is a limited edition color and cotton thread for the blue, and then I think just Blanc for the white. You can kind of see here, he's just so fuzzy. But yeah. Next is the next Halloween snow globe. This one is definitely my favorite base. I love it so much. Like, look at these gummy worms. Absolutely precious. This is Candy the Koala. So that is by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, part of the Halloween Snow Globe Stitch Along. 14 count perforated paper by Mill Hill in the color Antique Brown. And then the next one is the next snow globe. So this is Broomhilda the Bunny by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, Halloween Snow Globes, Sal. And I do really love this base. The like the cozy reading scene with the little kitty, but I don't know, like it couldn't beat the gummy worms and candy for me. Like, just I think it's because those colors are just so bright and colorful. And then the last one that I finished, oh no, there's one, like I've got one left here, but there was another one that I finished that was a gift. So this one, spoiler, has a naughty word in it. And the person that it was for, of course, absolutely loved it, but I'm not gonna say it just in case you have little ears. But it's gonna be on the screen, so just to let you know. This is the second time I've done this pattern, but it's in different colorways because it was a gift for two different people. And this is by Plastic Little Covers. The title is the words in the middle. And it is on 14 count aida, and then I just used like scrap floss that I have. Anytime I have kits, especially kits that when I first started out, I had a bunch of things that I don't think they use DMC threads, and then I inherited a bunch of like old floss from DMC and Coats and some other brands from like my grandma and my mother-in-law finds stuff at estate sales. Anyway, all of that stuff, because I want to stick with things that if I need to, I could probably get another color, like the exact same color again. So DMC is not usually a problem for dye lots, but all of this stuff is so old that I'm sure it's changed and I can't get more of it. So I like to use this stuff up for kitting up small projects where I know I'm not going to go through all the floss that I have, and just try to use that stuff up. So a lot of ornaments, like just little ornaments, I like to kit up like that too. So anyway, the 14 count aida here, I got this off of Etsy. I had started this forever ago and just never got around to finishing it for my friends. So Don't recommend it, so no point in saying a brand. And yeah, it was super well received. Very happy. Yeah, I think that's all there is to say. And now we are on to the very last one. This one I also kitted up with those scrap threads I was talking about. This was the freebie from the 2025 Jingle Ball, another virtual retreat hosted by Lindy Stitches. And this one is called Homebound by Lindy Stitches. I stitched this on a scrap of 32 count Sea Spray linen by Seraphim Fabrics. And oh my gosh, I forgot one. Not having them here, and then I'm trying not to like be glued to my notes. Anyway, I forgot like one of the most exciting ones that I finished. So me and a group of friends did a like a Secret Santa gift exchange. We sent them out like right after Thanksgiving. It was the same group of friends that we did. I'm not going to go through every single one of them again, but it's the same group that we did the round robin for Hillary's, like as a wedding present. But yeah, I'm not going to go through the whole list. But anyway, we did Secret Santa. Amity went ahead and sort of organized all of the names since she wasn't participating and in actually stitching and swapping gifts. So what I ended up stitching was for Tara of Little Woman Crafts. I knew that she loved Zelda, the Zelda video games, and I had a pattern by Mama Witch X Stitch. Again, I've not seen this one released, but I'll show the actual pattern itself. I took the motifs of the Koroks and turned those into a needle minder and earrings, like a mix and match set of 3 earrings. I stitched those on 18 count. It's a plastic canvas, but it's not super hard. Like it's pretty flexible. And then finished them off with hot glue and felt to make them sturdier on the back, but not like pokey or too heavy since they're supposed to be earrings. And yeah, the pattern name was called You Found Me! Exclamation point by Mama Witch X Stitch. But again, I just took motifs from that, and I haven't seen it released, so I don't know if you're gonna find it. Sorry. That was a Patreon pattern in either 2023 or 2024 that I've been sitting on, and it's kind of a large pattern, so I didn't want to be like, it's not one that I would want to stitch the whole thing as a gift, to be honest, but yeah, you can see her wearing them in, I'm not sure which day, but towards mid to late December in Tara Little Woman Crafts Vlogmas. And yeah, super well received. I was very happy that she liked them. And yeah, now I think I have covered everything that I stitched in 2025. I have already honestly finished one thing in 2026. Today is, what, the 4th? Yeah, January 4th, 2026. But we're not going to cover that. I'll talk about that in my first and forever, next actual Flosstube. But I do have one extra special finish that my husband did in 2025. Let's start with a story here. So he had, and just, for for the past several years, he has seen me stitching, has seen the like good vibes, the calming effects that stitching gives me. And he's like, huh, I need that. So he asked to start stitching. Like, hey, can you help me find some easy patterns? He's done a few things before, like a few small things. And then he fell in love with the Bird Crush Club from Lindy Stitches when he saw that Tara had stitched all of them. And he was like, those, I want those. So we have the whole set. We have all the floss. I even have all the hoops to finish them in. And thank God I did not spend all the money to get the modern hoopla like frames that you put like the embroidery hoop. I can put a link below, but yeah, they're I'll do a photo too because they're so cool. But they're a frame that you can put an embroidery hoop in, and that's the finish. So you could always swap the embroidery hoop out for something else if you wanted to, and it's like a really easy framing technique, to be honest. So yeah, thank God I didn't spend all the money about all of those yet, because it took almost 2 years probably to stitch the first one. I think he got a lot of pleasure from finding ways to get out of stitching with me. But anyway, he finally finished the first bird from the Bird Crush Club by Lindy Stitches. This is called Stellar's J. It uses a everything is DMC except for the green. The variegated green is a Threadworks. It's all as called for except for I think I didn't take notes on this, to be honest, so I'm really not sure what the fabric is. I know it's a Witchold 16 count Aida, but I'm not sure the color. It's like a gray neutral. And yeah, it's adorable. Has he started the next one? No. Is he gonna? I don't know. I think at this point, we're gonna have to go through these, and now that he knows that he's not going to, like, stick with these too much, we're gonna have to delegate, and I'm gonna have to stitch some of these. I want them on the wall, you know? Like, I really liked them too, but anyway, it's very exciting. It was very, sweet and rewarding that he enjoyed how much I enjoyed stitching and wanted to get in on that, but he clearly is not, as gung-ho and head over heels for this hobby as I am. So don't expect to see, a fabulous cross-stitching duo channel anytime soon, but I'll try to sneak in anything that he does get done. I will give him credit and show those as they happen, but don't hold your breath. And that's everything that I have for this video. I'm really sorry about how long I've been gone, but it's just a lot has happened. If you can't tell, I'm in a completely new space. We bought our first house. Again, I don't want to go too much into that. I'll talk a little bit more about it during my next regular Flosstube. But anyway, like I said, I really hope to get back to doing these again. I feel like I have still tried to be a part of the cross-stitch community with some of the people I'd previously met, like doing floss tubes and things, but I didn't make too many new friends. So I do want to come back and be a part of this community. And yeah, I'm going to set everything up and film a whip parade. So that one will take longer to edit than this one though, because it's going to have a lot of photos in it. So it may be a little bit before that one actually gets posted, but we're going to do this. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys!